So today, what I want to go through is manual sourcing and product checking techniques. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Thomas Parkinson, and I run the Amazon arbitrage lead service called Fast Track FBA. And should we say, I've been a seller for 3 years now. I've done six figures from my first year, and I still do that today. But also as well, about 9 months ago, we started the Amazon, or the UK-based Amazon arbitrage lead service, Fast Track FBA, where we source deals for you, and you can browse them all, look at them all, and then choose the deals that you like. And then when you're ready, you can obviously purchase them. So, to be honest, a lot of what I'm going to be talking about now, we use in our business, and to be honest, you can use in your business as well. If you're watching this video from the YouTube replay that we'll do, give us a good thumbs up, give us a like. I do love that. And look, from my side, is giving me a like shows us that you love this content, and obviously we'll do more of it. Drop us some comments down here, because obviously I like the questions, I like answering them. And hey, when you've got questions, I can do information pieces about them, I can share, I can talk about problems that you're having in your business, and hey, give you how I overcome them. And then finally, obviously what I would say is, if you are interested as well, click subscribe, because obviously we've got a lot of content coming out, not just these lives, but also I do lots of other pieces as well, and you'll get notified the moment they come out, so do click the subscribe button. But now for me, what I want to talk about is thinking about sourcing overview. So we've talked a bit about manual sourcing, or should I say, I'm going to talk about that. But before I even go into manual sourcing, what I want to talk about is for you to really think about the different, or when manual sourcing should be used and when it shouldn't, and also when you're doing it, what approach you might want to take and what works for me. So for me, is if I kind of just talk through the plan, or should you say, whenever I do manual sourcing and when we do it in Fast Track FBA, we have a plan. We always have a plan. So every day we'll write out, if we're working 8 hours, we'll write out our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we'll literally write, here is my plan for the day. No one starts work without a plan. And it doesn't matter if what you do changes, but that plan has got to be written before the day starts, because you've got something to work towards and you know what you're hoping to achieve. So for us, is when we write that plan, we think about certain things. So we think about what stores do we want to source from, and then within those stores, what kind of sections do we want to source from, so like categories. And the reason why I say this is important is because you understand where you're ungated, i.e. what kind of products you sell naturally, what products you know well, and then also what products that you're going to be able to sell. So you want to make this as targeted as possible that's going to work for you. You could jump into a store like Tesco or Argos and just search everything, and you could be there forever. But if you have a plan, like today I'm going to go into Tesco and I'm going to be looking at coffees, because they're non-vatable and I'm ungating them, and they're groceries, and I really like that. So I might jump into that and do some sourcing in that section. And then I know that that's what I'm going to be focusing on today, rather than just jumping in and seeing what's happening, because that's a really good way to waste time. So for you, number one, have a plan, and I'd say stick to it, but it doesn't matter if, should we say, your plan is to source coffees for an hour, and then after 30 minutes you've run out, not a problem. Change, you can do something else, but stick to your plan that you've made. And the reason is you want to measure everything you're doing, and I'll come back to that a bit later. So for me, whenever I'm sourcing, and especially for you whenever you're sourcing, you're really got to think about what your deal criteria is. So for me personally, and for Fast Track FBA, we always look at £3 profit. Generally, we do some less, but generally £3 profit is where we want to be. We're looking for 30% ROI, and then also as well, we're looking for sub 100,000 sales rank. But also we'll have a quick look at the sales. But if I kind of talk you through the three things: £3 profit, 30% ROI, and then sub 100,000 sales rank. So for us is to say that they're the three categories, or the 3 points we're looking at. So really important just to understand what your deal criteria looks like, and then once you know that, you know what you can rule out really quick, and what you're not going to waste your time with. So many times our staff will go through and go, if it's £3 criteria, £3 profit, 30% ROI, and maybe 105,000 sales rank, can we do it? And we're like, no, just not interested. 100,000 is where we want to be. So look, for me, is when I'm looking to make £3 profit, what I've seen in general past or sourcing is that for me to make £3 profit, I generally have to be selling for about £15. So if I'm selling a product for about £10, the profit I make off it just isn't enough. Like, I'm going to make £1.50, £2, it's not worth it. But if I'm wanting to make £3 as a minimum, I need to be selling for about a minimum of £15 and or above. And what I've also seen from my sourcing is that when I'm working for about 30% ROI, what I'll generally see is that for me to sell at say £15, I'll generally be buying a product for about £7.50. So generally my products are going to be purchased for OA, online arbitrage that is, where we buy online, that they'll be at least, or they'll be about half the price I sell them for. So we mark them up twice the amount. So with that in mind, for me to achieve £3 profit, I'm going to be looking for something which is a buy price of about £7.50 as a minimum. So if I'm looking at products which are going to be £1, £2, £3, I'm not really interested. I know they're not going to make me the money unless I'm going to be bundling them. But just to say that allows me to rule out a lot of the products, i.e. a lot of the products which are very low value. I just won't bother manual sourcing. I'll just go for the higher value ones. And the reason is I can only source or check a certain number of products per hour, and I'd much rather check the higher value items where I'm going to be getting £3 than spending my time checking the lower value items where I'm going to be getting £1. Again, this is a time-money equation. How much time can I spend to generate X amount of profit for my business? So for me, I'm looking at making £3 profit, and for that I'm going to be looking at a minimum buy price of about £7. So the other thing you're looking at, so we talked about here is, in the three areas we're looking at price, or like the profit, £3, we're looking at the ROI, 30%, and we're looking at sub 1000 sales rank. And the general reason why I say that is because I'm looking for sales. I can find you a million, well, maybe not a million, I can find you 100 products, no problem, that are going to make you great money and are give you a great ROI, but will never sell, or rarely sell, that you just wouldn't want to buy them. So for me is to say, look, what I'm looking at is to say, what you want to do is try and reduce down the amount of work you've got to do. So at the moment you're checking 3 points, or 3 data points, if you think about it: price, ROI, and sales rank. So for me, what I generally tend to do is, when I do my sourcing, I'll go for branded goods. And the reason why I go for branded goods over unbranded goods is that branded goods, like Lego for example, the big brands have already done the advertising, the marketing, they've already got the customer interested in their products, and the customers are interested in buying them. And as a result, they generally sell better on Amazon, and as a result of that, their BSR will generally be lower than unbranded products. So what does that mean? It means that when I come to source, if I'm looking at branded products, most of the time they're always going to meet my sub 100,000 product, sub 100,000 sales rank on the Amazon page, so sales rank. And that means they sell. But if I'm looking at unbranded products, I might find a lot of products which meet my profit but just don't sell. So I'm trying to make my process as quick and efficient as possible. And obviously, as I said before, branded products sell really well. So this makes me come on to talking about, should we say, the difference between manual sourcing and software sourcing. And it's quite interesting to understand the difference and how they work, and the strengths and weaknesses of both. So look, if I talk a little bit about software sourcing and how that works. Now look, I developed some software which does sourcing for us, and we use that in Fast Track FBA, but we don't use any of the products like Source Mogul, FBA Wizard, or Tactical Arbitrage. But my understanding of how they work is that they will go onto their websites, i.e. like Argos and Tesco, Debenhams, the big name retailers. They will generally either look for a barcode, or they'll look for the text, and then they'll ping that against Amazon with the API, and they'll look for the, Amazon will return the Amazon products. Now, what's happening is Amazon returning the products, and then the sourcing software is saying, I can buy it for £6 and I can sell it for £10. No, it's not a deal, but it will make all those matches. Now, sourcing software will, I think a lot of the time, it will use the barcodes wherever it can, because that's more accurate, but also it may do the text searching as well. But having used the Amazon API, the text searching isn't as amazing as you might think. Interesting enough, if you want to know, when you do text searching through Amazon actual website, you can get more results than you would if you just use the API call. So when the sourcing software happens, what they're doing is they're looking for barcodes predominantly, but also text, and they will check that versus Amazon and do the pricing. Now for you, is when you're doing your manual sourcing, is to say, look, if you just go and do that, i.e. you go onto Argos and you are, you are sourcing and you are looking solely for, you're looking solely for products, or you're solely looking for, sourcing products that software is doing, then you're just competing against the software, and it's going to beat you, it's going to be better than you, and it's not really needed. What you need to think about is, how can I source differently? How can I source a different method to the sourcing software? How can I identify the weaknesses of the sourcing software and then play to my strengths? So for you, when you think about sourcing, is just think a little bit differently. So look, when you come to against sourcing software, doing manual copying and pasting when there's a nice barcode and everything else isn't going to be an advantage, because people who've got sourcing software can run that and it's going to find it quicker, faster, and they're going to beat you. But the difference is when you come to manual sourcing is if you go into manual sourcing when you are looking for things like, should we say, bundles, the sourcing software can't do. Or maybe you're looking at things like 3 for 2 offers, which sourcing software can't really adjust for because it's in a certain category or something's going on. Or maybe you're applying discount codes, voucher codes, for example, because sourcing software can't do that, it doesn't understand how it works, and you might understand that it works for a certain category where sourcing software do it for everything. So if you use, when you're doing stores which are on sourcing software, do think about whether you are doing something which the sourcing software is doing already, and if you are, then I would probably recommend against it. But try and play to your strengths, which is bundles, discount codes, sales, which the sourcing software doesn't really work as well with. Also, on the flip side, to say that sometimes the sourcing software makes mistakes. It doesn't match the right products, and if you can find those products, then a lot of people's sourcing software will never will, and what happens is you then get a really nice replenishable product. So manual sourcing has a real benefit versus sourcing software in the fact that that extra time, that effort you're taking in sourcing really pays off because less people can find it. Obviously, if sourcing software can find the deal, it means many people can find it because many people have it. So, and that kind of leads me on quite nicely to the final point about just kind of thinking about an overview of manual sourcing. So look, for us in Fast Track FBA, and I talked about this beforehand, is every day with our team, every single member of staff will have literally a Monday, here's what I'm doing, Tuesday what I'm doing, Wednesday what I'm doing, and they'll have every hour what they're doing. And then literally it might be like, let's just say for example, Monday, on one day they're doing 4 hours of sourcing in Argos and 4 hours of sourcing in Debenhams, for example. And every hour, what we get our staff members to do is to record what they did in that hour. So we don't mind if it changes, i.e. if they ran out of deals or something's happened, not a problem. But we want to know what was the plan and what did they actually do, and then what we want to know is how many deals they found in that hour. So we'll do that for the entire day. So every hour we have a preset plan. We want them to stick to it as best as possible. But then finally, if they can't, then what will happen is they will add in what they've done, even if it is the same or if it changes. And then finally, what's going to happen is they'll put in how many deals per hour they found in each box. And the reason why we do this is because what we do is every week we basically add up all the total hours they've worked, and we work out how many deals they found. And then finally what we do is we work out what is the average deals per hour. So for every hour worked, how many deals on average are my staff finding which meet our deal criteria? And then once we have that information, we go back and look over the week and we say, okay, let's say for example if we're finding, let's say for example if we're finding 3 deals per hour, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at those stores or those sourcing methods, those different things we're working through that are going to give me 3 or more deals per hour, and I'm going to say these are good methods that I like. And then I'm going to look at the sourcing methods or the stores which have given me less than 3 deals per hour, and then I'm going to say these aren't the ones that I want. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to plan my next week and say, hey, what we want to do now is we want to do more of what's working, i.e. getting good deals, and let's do less of what's not working. That's not to say I'll stop it completely, but it just means that I'll reallocate the time differently. So because at the end of the day, I want deals, and the more deals my staff can find, the better. And obviously by looking at how we've done in the past, I can say statistically speaking, we should get better results going forward. And what we've managed to do is to grow our deals per hour just by using this simple method. But also as well, we've tested lots of different methods, and we've found out what's working for our business. Now, there is no hard and fast rule. If you are sourcing toys, this is going to be different to health and beauty, and the stores that you look on is going to be different, and the number of deals that you find per hour are going to be different. But the thing you're looking for is to understand what sourcing techniques work for you, what sourcing store works for you, and what's giving you the best ROI. And ROI, return on your investment, for the time invested. And that's you or your staff's time. And if I just give you an idea, what we'll generally do work to is that 80% of our time is spent working on sourcing methods and stores which deliver a very good result. It might be a mix of some that have historically done but last week haven't done so well, but then also last week they've done really well. But then 20% of our time will be spent on testing new things. Now, if I give you an idea, it might be that we spend 10 hours on, or it might be one whole day, 8 hours on different sourcing techniques. We might do 2 different techniques, and we find that over the course of 4 weeks that 90% of the techniques don't deliver 3 deals per hour. But what we're looking for is that one store or that one technique which then delivers better results. And once we get that, we move that into our new 80%, and as a result, our deals per hour start increasing. So that's a little bit about manual sourcing overview, and just talking about how we kind of think about our sourcing, how we look at that, and what we do. So look, for me, Thomas Parkinson at Fast Track FBA, hopefully you have found this webinar that I've done today really useful. Give us a big like, but also as well, add some comments. Like, if you liked this, if it was useful, please let me know. I love that feedback. I really like to hear what you've got to say, but also if you've got any questions, let me know and I'll answer them. And then finally, if you're watching this on YouTube, click subscribe, because again, if you want to see what information we've got shared, not only these lives, but we cut them up, make them more useful, but also as well, they'll do other content we have. Be sure to, you'll get that, and you'll get that through subscribing, so click on subscribe. Now, obviously, if you like this kind of content and maybe you've got some questions, maybe you want me to do another video on something else, then be sure to join my Facebook group, Fast Track FBA. We are UK-based lead searching, but obviously you can do these techniques anywhere, it doesn't matter. And what I would say is, just post in the group, let us know what your problems are. I do kind of look out and monitor them and try and give good feedback or give good answers, and also do video relating to what problems you've got. Thank you very much for watching.